Welcome to Oracle Application Express Apex Regions Charts. In this lesson, we're going to take a look at the charting capabilities of Oracle Apex. Since we're working in a graphical environment, to make use of graphical elements like charts is absolutely essential for most production applications. Using charts in Oracle Apex is relatively simple once you understand how to write queries against the Oracle database. I'm going to create a new page, and for that page, I'm going to make my default region a chart region. I'll select chart, and I have a lot of different options when it comes to charting inside of Oracle Apex. I can use either Flash charts or HTML5 charts. Oracle is moving away from proprietary technologies like Flash and moving to open standards like HTML5. In this version of Oracle Application Express, the two types of charts are represented just about evenly, but Oracle is definitely moving more and more toward HTML5 charts. So I'm going to select that here. As you can see, I have 7 basic types of charts that I can create: column, horizontal bar, pie and donut, scatter, line, candlestick, and gauges. To keep things simple for this example, I'm going to use the simplest type of chart, and that's a column chart. Much like when we created forms or reports, there are subtypes to each one of the different types of charts. I'm going to choose the simplest type of chart, and that's a 2D column chart. I have to specify information about the page that's going to hold my chart. So I'm going to call this chart Orders by Sales Rep. I'm going to do the same thing for the region. I'm not going to use any tabs on this particular page, so I'm just going to skip over that for now. Here, I can set a whole bunch of attributes on how I want my chart to look. I can give the chart a title that is unique to the chart itself. I'll do the same thing that I did for my page and region. The background can be transparent, a solid color, a gradient. I can specify background colors from a color palette. I can change the color scheme, change the x-axis, the y-axis title, hints, values, labels. I can show a grid, show a legend. The really cool thing to remember, as I've said over and over again, is that you're not locked into any of these choices once you make them as part of the wizard. I'm going to leave all the default values on this page, and I can always come back to it later on and change values if I need to. Here's where things get really interesting. I have to write a query in a very specific format in order for charting to work properly inside of Apex. Luckily, Oracle makes things a little easier for you by giving you a query wizard that'll help you on the path. If I scroll all the way down, I can see that Oracle gives me chart query examples for the type of chart I want to build inside of my application. If I click on that, I see 3 distinct examples. The first one is the simplest, and it's the one to remember. In order for me to create a query that will drive the charting engine inside of Apex, I have to write it in a very specific format. I have to have 3 values, and I need to alias each one of those 3 columns. The first one has to be aliased with the name link, the second one has to be aliased with the name label, and the third one has to be aliased with the name value. What in the world is this? Once we get to the lesson on how to link pages together, we're going to go through an example that looks just like this, and it won't seem quite as scary once we get to it. For now, remember that our basic query has to look like this, and depending on the type of chart that we select, the queries will have to be a little different. Again, Oracle is going to try to help you out by giving you a build query wizard to make things a little easier for you. Once you get comfortable writing your own queries that drive charts, you probably won't have to use the query wizard. You'll just be able to bang out the code pretty easily. For this example, I'm going to use the Build Query Wizard, so I click on the button here, and another page pops up. First thing I'm asked, what schema do I want to build this chart against? I'm going to go against the LOAE schema. Then it's going to ask me what table or view do I want to build against. I'm going to build against the orders table. I want to build a chart that summarizes all of the orders based on sales rep ID. So the label is going to be the actual sales rep ID. We're going to aggregate this by counting up all of the numbers together. I'm just going to count up the sales rep IDs. I have the ability to create links so that every element inside of my graph can be clicked on, and I'll be taken to another page inside of my application. Right now, that's a little bit beyond the scope of what we're trying to do in this lesson. When we talk about linking pages together, we're going to come back to these types of wizards to see how we can increase the functionality of our application by adding those advanced features. For now, I'm not going to create a link inside of my chart. Oracle goes ahead and builds the query for me. And as you can see, it conforms to the format that we specified earlier. We have to have a first column selected, and it's aliased with the name link, a second column selected, aliased with the name label, and a third column selected, aliased with the term value or value1. Everything looks okay. We click on next. We see the summary page. Chart has been created successfully. We run the page, and we can see we now have a functioning chart that breaks down all of the sales reps along the bottom of the screen here and a number of orders that are associated with each one of those sales reps. Just to prove that I'm not using a canned demo, we can go into our database and make sure that sales rep 161 does in fact have 13 orders associated with him. So if I select from OE orders where the sales rep ID is 161, you can see in fact he does have 13 orders associated with him. If I select 159, I'm going to expect 7 orders to be associated with him. And if I do sales rep 153, I would expect 5 sales orders to be associated with her. As you can see, all the numbers match. That's how easy it is to create charts inside of Oracle Application Express.